Do you wish somebody wrote down the recipe for your parenting challenges? Did you want tips and tricks to become a better mama for you and your babies? I know I do. If you're a mother who feels that you are doing the best you can with the hands you've been dealt, but you're still getting it done, then this podcast is for you. I'm so glad you tuned in to Nailed It Motherhood because we might have the recipe that nobody wrote down. What's up, everybody? You're listening to Nailed It Motherhood Podcast, and I'm your host with the most, Tamara Eldridge. Listeners, I have to take this time to thank you all for being a part of this hood we call parenthood. And I also have to remind you to like, follow, share, and even rate the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or other platforms that you can listen to the podcast. Don't forget to check us out at www.naileditmotherhood.com, where you will be the first to hear about what's coming up in the community. But enough about me. On today's episode of Nailed It Motherhood, this mama might really have a couple recipes for us today. She is the queen in her kingdom, as she is the only woman in the house of 4 sons and a loving husband. But we'll get into that a bit later. I am thrilled to welcome to the show someone who is fabulous through and through, and I mean in fashion and in personality. If you want to know someone who is kind hearted and genuine, you're going to learn today. Welcome, Mrs. Cherrita Lusane. Hi, and thank you for being on my podcast today.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming today. I am so excited to get this conversation started.
I'm excited.
Today, before we read your bio, I'm actually going to start with our Tavi tale because this chick has been bugging me about her birthday ever since her birthday. So, we threw a birthday party for her fourth birthday, and after that, she's been asking for everything. And she has learned that I'm not going to buy it for her. So instead of saying that she wants it today, she's like, "No, no, not today. I want it for my fifth birthday, for my fifth birthday." So this is what she has been using. We'll go in the store and she just has a list, honey, and this list is extensive. So she'll just tell me, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this for my fifth birthday, for my fifth birthday. And girl, you want to know what her birthday is?
When?
September.
My girl.
Yes, it is in September. And for the listeners, we are recording in February. I have been hearing about this chick's birthday since September of last year. Thank you for listening to my Tavi tale. I enjoy being able to share a piece of me, even though I bring in all of the guests. So, thank you for being excited about my child and her creativity and her usage of trying to get things on her list for her birthday. But enough about me, enough about my baby girl. We are going to read your bio and then we're just going to jump right into your personal parenting journey because I am eager to hear how you are doing it. Cherrita Lusane is a loving mother of 4 sons and a happy wife to her husband. She strives to make sure her family is taken care of and hopes that one day they will know the legacy that she is helping to build for them. By day, Cherrita is an educator, owning her own childcare center. It takes a village childcare. Despite the trauma and hardship she has seen growing up, she still has so much love to give to the world. Cherrita would love to be recognized for the sincerity and authenticity in everything that she does. Baby, that is what we are going to see today with this beautiful mama. And I'm not going to take over her time. So, Miss Lady, let's hear about your personal journey.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that lovely intro. I'm just like blushing. But it's true. Like I everything I do is pretty much about my family. It's all about family. As I grow though, of course it's about my extended family and friends and things like that. And I want to start with becoming a mom. So my at the time was my boyfriend, which is now my husband, but we started our family when we were 15 years old. So our oldest, it will be 30 this year. And the journey has not been easy, let me tell you. Um, Listen, we have four, like you said, four boys. The oldest will be 30 in November. Our second son will be 27 in November. And our third son will be 21 in June. And then the baby just turned 12.
21? What? When did that happen?
Listen, I know, right? 21. Um, so not only did my husband and I grow together, we grew with our children. So we experienced parenthood or motherhood within like every stage with our kids. So uh, very very like I said, challenging, but I think I really began to appreciate it more as I got older. You're a teenager and you haven't even experienced anything. So thank goodness for my village though, because Lord knows if I did not have a village that was comprised of like my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, my boyfriend then, but his family, his mom, and his aunts, and then as we got older, his sisters, as they became adults, they helped out and friends. We just had a lot of people in our corner rooting for us and helping us out as we tried to parent our children. And so um, I just always even being a young mom, I just always focused on my children. So it was whatever I could do. I had to work hard, young mom on welfare, coming up through the system, doing what I need to do to, take care of my family. And now they're men, and I mean, I'm proud. I am proud, a proud mom. We struggle with some mental health situations, throughout life, and with depression and things like that. And that in and of itself is challenging. With a couple of our kids, and then they were always active, but it I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really wouldn't.
That's beautiful. Can you define what a village is to you and explain how it influenced you to create a childcare facility?
So my village, as it pertains to parenting and raising my children, it was really honestly it people that touched us in different ways probably don't even realize they were part of our village. You have your direct people that's right there helping out in one way or another. Like I mentioned, our close family, our friends, and things like that. Then you have teachers, or counselors throughout the years that kind of helped and sewed into our lives in different ways that I would consider them to be part of our village. And how that kind of transpired into childcare, funny enough, being a mom and wanting to be home with the children, I started the child care program in my home. And that's kind of where It Takes a Village Child Care was birthed, because I wanted to kind of give that same type of feeling and nurturing, and being, partners with the children's parents that I care for. And I think in the beginning, I was really focused on trying to help young parents, because that was my struggle. And I started back in 2008, so I was still, young, and that was kind of like my focus. I want to help people that are struggling, because I had help when I was struggling. Um, and then it just kind of evolved from there.
That is kudos to you for that, because that's an amazing feat that one, you started in your home, but you carried to three different locations that you're able to oversee. So that's, thank you for being a help to the young mothers, because I know we need it. And I consider myself a young mother. Although by age I am not young, I still am raising a very young child. So this is all new to me.
Right.
So, what advice would you give to a first time mom when looking for a childcare facility then?
Um, Definitely do your research. Maybe reach out to someone that either works in a facility, that you know personally, or just even acquaintances with, either work or have some sort of association with childcare. If not, Google. There's tons of resources on the internet that will help young mothers or families search for quality childcare and what to look for. Definitely, you want to look for staff, or for a childcare program with staff that are qualified, in that have credentials, CPR, some experience in childcare, professional childcare, because babysitting and childcare is different, and we do not want to get the two mixed. Um, and yeah, those were, I would definitely say look out for those things. And in the state of Pennsylvania, we have a quality kind of assessment that we use called the Keystone Stars, which kind of helps um, facilities gain and maintain quality care as it pertains to educating their staff and providing, like, kind of enhancing the child care program in and of itself, to provide quality care for children and their families.
I have had quite a few interviews, conversations with educators, people who have worked in childcare and people who have just worked in several avenues of education, whether it be a principal or somebody who sees kids when they're older in college or whatever. And I also am in education. So my biggest question is always, you were a mother of four boys and you were married. You are married. Let me say that. I'm not going to say that incorrectly on any kind of broadcast. Uh, you are married. And so sometimes as women, it feels like we're also parenting our men.
Yes, say that for the people in the back.
So you had a house full of five men that you were taking care of, on top of, seeing these children probably from sun up to sundown. How
Hmm.
how did you separate the two? And tell me about what balance looked like for you.
So in the beginning, of course, I think all things new, you have to figure it out as you go along. There's no blueprint for these things, in essence, especially parenting. So I kind of learned some things along the way, and I'm huge on training and education, and just um, things to develop myself. So I always took training and things like that to help develop different skills in parenting in and of itself, and of course, childcare. So within that, we kind of it helped me to learn how to turn like turn off the clock. Like, so especially with it being in my home, the business being in my home,
Right.
I had to set boundaries, for staff and parents, when they could call, when they could come, different things like that. When I needed to step away from being the administrator, childcare provider, and being mom and wife. So it was difficult in the beginning because when you're an entrepreneur, it's never ending, and you feel like I got to get this done and I got to get that done. But um, as I mentioned before, then we kind of had the mental health component kind of pop in our life. And, especially I feel like in the African American community, mental health just was not, and even still sometimes is not, it's better now, I feel, but at the time wasn't, just we didn't look at it, we didn't kind of address that, we didn't acknowledge it, should I say, so it was a big eye opener. So I had to separate the two, learn how to separate the two. And so much that I even I had to close my business for a short time, to focus on that, and then I ended up going back to school in mental health for mental health, because I wanted to learn how to help my family and help others too. Yeah, I'm always one to help somebody, but so that's pretty much, it's just setting boundaries, and always learning different skills on how to kind of balance and separate and things like that.
Right. Because you have such a big heart, was it hard to keep those boundaries sometimes?
Of
Did anybody
course.
ever take advantage of it?
Um, People try to, and that was part lessons for me too, because then I had to in turn to learn how to kind of toughen up a little bit, and it doesn't always feel good, but you just do. But then over time you realize it's for the benefit of pretty much all parties involved, because at the end of the day, the first point of, or who I have to look out for first is my family and myself, and then everyone else, which, would be the families that I serve. So, it always kind of works out for in the best, for the best, should I say.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that information about boundaries and basically needing to put your foot down and understand where you needed to place them with parents, with family, so that you could put you and your family first. I think that is a key takeaway. And I think that any listeners who are hearing the words that you just dropped into the sound box, girl, I'm making up words. Uh, I think that those are crucial takeaways, and I hope that people pick that up and run with it. Um, you said something about studying mental health so that you can educate yourself and being able to apply it to the family circumstances that you were and are dealing with. Can you tell me the greatest challenge in learning textbook style mental health versus real life experience mental health without sharing too much?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the thing about it is, it definitely gives you a different outlook on it. Um, it it helps you gain deeper empathy toward family members, but just individuals, period. Even if they're not experiencing what you would consider like a diagnosis or something specific, but just humans, period. We're going through things, and especially in this climate that we're in now. But more specifically, dealing with my family, I think it has taught me to kind of step back and let other professionals deal with it, because that close tie, it's difficult to deal with your loved ones. However, it does help, like I said, give you like a deeper understanding, and you kind of look at it differently. Now, I will share, my husband and I, we tag team. Sometimes I'm ready to put my hands up. I can't deal with it. I'm done. So it's tough. and then something he's like, look, hey, okay, it's your turn. We tag team a lot. And then the other thing too is, and then sometimes we both have that strength, but we have different strengths. So he'll address something, in one way, and then I'll address it in another way, and it kind of all comes together. But it typically plays out, far as, I don't even want to say outcome, because the out ain't coming, but but far as how things are playing out, should I say, because it's ongoing. So
Thank you for sharing that. It's good insight to have because you just never know when you're going to be dealing with mental health issues. So it's good to know that you have a support system, a supportive husband who is willing to say it's not just the mom to handle that. So that's beautiful. It's good to see in a Black family. Um, it's good to see in a healthy marriage. It's just nice. It's nice to see, and I'm glad that you are able to share that and to share that you don't always have the answers, and sometimes you do need say, hey, it's your turn. uh,
yep,
yeah, so
absolutely.
it's good. It shows that we are human, but it shows that
Hmm.
we do love hard, and it shows that we are really trying over here to just make it through and be the best version of the family that we can be. So
Yes.
for all of those out there, Black families really do stick it out and rock out together. So we're shutting down the lies, okay?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So I would be remiss if I did not shout out your mama, Miss Sandy.
Oh gosh.
And I just love the relationship that you two have because it's like you guys are actually friends. And it's a beautiful thing to see. So not only are you the queen of your house, but you are the princess to your mama and her queendom. And baby, when I tell you, she has a queendom of her own.
Yes, she does, and she knows it.
So, Sister Sandy, hey girl, how you doing? I guess my last question then, before we move on to tea time, I mean, we could really be talking all day, but
I know.
we we've had a long day together trying to figure out some issues because tech issues just keep popping up. But
What you gonna do?
what you gonna do?
That's like
Uh,
parenthood.
no,
It's
you know,
gonna come, right?
real. That's
So you
real.
just work through it. It's no need to get in hype, and it's just, it is. It is what it is. You know. Take a deep breath. There you go, and move on to the next. What's the next option?
Yes, I love it. Thank you for that quick advice. Um, but okay, so in regards to the relationship with your mom, how has she been a part of your village helping you raise your family?
Well, let me tell you, my mama was not one of the mamas that was like, "Oh, let me take your baby." Oh, no, 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 no. Because remember, I was 15. I was 15 in her house. So I was still a child in her eyes. Okay. I was her child that had a baby, and I was going to take care of that baby. And now she would babysit. Don't I'm I am making it funny, but at the end of the day, that's how she was, and I'm kind of glad that she was that way. It kind of made me step up to the plate more. I think I might have been popping them up a little bit more, but no, you know what I mean. I don't know, but I'm just saying she helped me learn. So but her being part of my village was definitely giving me the hard truths, and but she always was supportive, like she really was. My mom's always been supportive. Anything I do, anything, and she'll tell me when I'm wrong, when I'm right, but she supports me. And the way her support look, I mean, I was still in her house, she was still paying bills. I had to go to school. I was still in school. So she would, babysit some times for me to go hang out with my friends. She still allowed me to do that, but for the most part, oh no, you're mommy and you're gonna be here with your babies. And that was in the earlier years. And then, of course, as I grew, and I honestly deep down think she couldn't wait for me to become an adult because then, then we really became friends. Like you said, like we really are friends. And we were act more like sisters. Everybody be like, oh my gosh. But it's not, much respect to my mom. I don't disrespect her, in any way. And but it's just, it's fun. I get on her nerves, she get on my nerves, and then we like, all right, you go home, I go home, talk to you another day, but I love being with her and hanging out. And she's still supportive. She's still, is part of my village. If I need her to come over and hang out with the kids. He's 12 now, but she would come over and hang out with them while me and my husband went out, or something like that. So she shows up kind of however I need her to. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful and blessed. I truly am.
What was a moment for you to boast on your mama?
That was my yes, that's my dog.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So let's move on to tea time so that we can get to know you a little bit more. For my listeners, this is the part where we play a game of rapid fire. Now, I've come up with a bunch of questions. Some are deep, some are just for fun. And Cherrita basically had no time whatsoever and knew nothing about this game until the day before. She didn't know about this game because life was life but in a good way. And that's okay because the questions are random anyway. So she will have 3 minutes to answer as many questions as she can and give us a little insight into who she is. So, listeners, are you ready? Yeah. Read? Are you ready? Yes, girl. Let's get started. 3 minutes on the clock. How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as fun, loving, genuine, authentic. That girl.
Yes. That's Philly all day. What's your biggest fear?
I don't want to talk about my biggest fears because I feel like that's manifestation. I try to, if I fear something, I don't want, yeah, I affirm the opposite. So I try not to kind of live in the fear realm, if that makes sense.
I like it. I like it. What's the most unexpected compliment you've received?
I don't know. I don't know. Next, pass.
Ooh, does somebody have a hard time taking compliments? Okay. Did you meet your own requirement for how many children you would have?
Girl, I had no requirement. It was like, okay, so we're gonna stay on the neutral realm with that.
Oh, okay. What age would you choose to be for the rest of your life and why?
Oh my gosh. So my birthday is actually March the 27th, is coming up, and I will be 45. And I will say 45 because this is the most confident, um, probably the most authentic I've ever been in my life. Like I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm about it. Like I'm gonna say what I want to say with respectfully, but I do what I want. I dress how I want. I eat what I want. You know, I'm loving it. I take the good and the bad. It is what it is. I'm an adult. So
Cause you that girl. Like, that was a great answer. Who is your biggest fan?
my husband is my biggest fan.
Are
My
you blushing?
children, my mommy. Yeah.
You just turned into a little girl. Okay. Girl, I wasn't paying attention. Hold on.
Wow.
That was
I was
it.
trying to go through them. See, I was trying to go
You was laughing too much. You had a little too much fun. Too much fun. Well,
through.
I wrote you a song. It's called Cherrita, Cherrita. It's like, thank you for playing Tea Time. We'll have to have you back just so we can finish the rest of the questions. But
Yes.
I do want to say thank you. And I'm going to slightly embarrass you um, because I had to reach out to you knowing good and well that you had gems to drop on the podcast. I had to reach out to you because you are shy. That's what you said. you said you
I
said I'm
am.
shy. I said it's only audio. Calm down. What's your email? But no, on the real though, I thank you. I love you. I miss you. I'm so glad that we were able to pick this up and do this because I feel like everybody that I'm rekindling with through this podcast, I'm just like, I remember why I love you so much. But lives, and we just get
Oh,
separated, and it's so sad. But with all of that being said, I'm excited that I was able to hear this side of you because I knew you were a mom. You were a bomb mom. You were everywhere, always trying to be there for your boys and trying to be there for you, trying to get into church and worship. I see you on Instagram all the time, trying to take care of your body. You've been killing the game. You are an inspiration to me in my weight loss journey. And girl, your fashion statement is just, I mean, you are that girl because that's what you said. But on a real note, I'm glad that I was able to hear this part of your story because you've had a lot of challenges growing up. You've had a lot of challenges just over life, and you have overcome them above and beyond what you could have. You could have said, nah, enough is enough. I'm just going to take these babies and be on welfare for the rest of my life. But you said, I'm going to use my circumstances of life and I'm going to empower myself to empower other people. And I think that's beautiful. And I think that that's amazing. And I am very glad that you are one of our leaders in the child care facilities, because I should say the child care world, because we need people like you. So thank you so much for being who you are and for following your passion to serve other people. At this time, I would love to give you the floor because I know you have some words of wisdom for moms who are just like you said, throwing the hands up, like, I don't know what to do. What can I do? I would love for you to share. So I'm going to give you the mic back.
well, thank you so much for those kind words. They really do mean a lot. And I am too glad that we've rekindled like in this on this platform. So I love you too, girl. I always looked at you like even though you're younger than me, you inspire me as well. I was
Thank
watching,
you.
girl. I was watching. And still am. Look at you on Instagram with your baby and stuff. And she's cute. Oh my gosh. A lot of
So
personality. I
much.
love it. I love it. So, we have great times as parents. We don't want to always dwell on those not so good times, but those could be the make it or break it points for parents. And I just want to encourage, parents on any level to get out there and reach out for support. Make your own village. There's support platforms out there. On Instagram, on the internet, things like that. You have my information now, so contact me. I'll help you. I will definitely help it. There you go again. I'll help you. That's my favorite line. That just needs to be my middle name. I'm sorry, but I don't absolutely have a problem with it. Absolutely don't. So just stick it out. Definitely dig deep and take a breath. Sometimes you just gotta take a breath, take a step back, and regroup. And that's pretty much the best thing that you can do. Because the main thing too, I'm huge on self-care. Huge. Um, Myself, my staff, my family, everybody. I'm like, look, you need a day off, okay? Like you got to take care of yourself. You're not going to be any good for anybody else if you don't. So at the end of the day, we got to take care of ourselves.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much. Well, ladies, mamas, papas, grandmas, the village, there you have it. Cherrita, let me help you, Lusane, has given us her words of wisdom. But before she goes, I have a couple more questions for her. Cherrita, is parenting challenging? Yes, it
Yes, it
is.
is. Yeah. I wouldn't give it up for the
Awesome.
world though.
Are they still standing though?
They got a mama and a papa behind them. Even when they can't
That's
stand,
awesome.
we're here, to help them stand. Yep.
So, what do you want to proudly shout to our listeners?
This mama is nailing it. Yes.
Yes. I think that she thought she was auditioning for one of my plays and she came 110,000%. But I love it because that mama is nailing it. Okay. I love it. Okay. So if you want to follow this spunky, energetic auditioneer, please follow Instagram. You can follow either her business page at ITAVC2. That's the number two. Or you can follow Cherrita directly at Reets_world. So I'm going to spell that for you. That's @REETS_WURLD. Or if you have any childcare questions or want to, sponsor or donate to the childcare facility, you can visit the website at itavc2.us. So, ladies, mamas, papas, village, grandmas, all who are listening, if you like this episode and you want to hear more personal parenting stories, please subscribe to my social media, Nailed It Motherhood Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and follow us on your favorite podcast platform. If you are listening to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, etc., 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 please don't forget to like and rate us and share the episode with your other mamas. You can also be a guest on the podcast by completing a guest application. The link is in the bio. We welcome your questions, comments, and ideas, and you can visit naileditmotherhood.com to submit them. We certainly hope to keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep on doing what it is that you do. Bye. Per Cherrita's request, it's a wrap, and we're out.